Hello, nerds. I am here today with Natasha Babbage.
Hello.
Did I say your last name correctly?
Yes. Babbage.
I never ever say her whole name. I just call her Tash. Or Tash. Tash. We are back from a high school party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Known as Like There's No Tomorrow, a collaboration between the Auckland Theatre Company, the Playground Collective, and also the Basement Theatre here in Auckland.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And Tosh, how many plays have you seen?
Like less than 5.
And 2 of them have been with me.
Yes.
Yes. And what were the kind of plays that you'd seen prior to this one?
Nothing like this one. Just standard, sit down, watch what's happening,
Kind of play.
get up and leave afterwards.
Yeah.
You're done.
I mean, I think that's the basic theater experience, you know,
Yeah.
as you go in and you sit down.
Yes, that's usually how it works.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. But as per usual, things at the basement are not necessarily theater as usual. And so when we went in tonight, we went into the bar, we got a drink. Shh, don't tell my mom. And then we were approached by...
Oh, we were all wearing party hats?
Oh, yes.
Don't
we were
get
given
up.
party
Awesome
hats.
party hats.
After we bought our tickets. We had little coney party hats and red Solo cups. Well, I didn't because I had wine, but Tash had a red Solo cup.
American party cups.
American party cups, as they were referred to.
Yes.
And we got approached by 3 Mayan girls.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have to say that in my entire career, high school career, I was never ever at a party where the 3 most popular girls came and talked to me. It was very strange. I was like, I'm at a party and like the 3 like party girls are talking to Dine.
To dine.
Because
Dawn.
that's what they thought my name was with my accent. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of it was that you're at this high school party, and basically all parties have been banned from the school because at a party prior to the one that we're at, a kid had jumped off the roof to jump into the pool and had missed the pool and died. And so the school had banned all the parties, but the kids decided that they were going to throw this massive end of the world party, hence the title Like There's No Tomorrow, in memory of this guy who lived his life for the day, for the moment.
Yeah.
But you didn't know any of this going in.
No, you didn't tell me any of that.
No. And so you walk in, we're at a party, everybody's coming over and talking to us.
Yeah.
And I'm a novelty.
Everyone loves you.
Yeah.
Accent.
My accent, that I'm from
LA, Texas, and all
and
that.
Texas. And
Your
people here are
Americanness.
really into like Texas, and I'm baffled. But
Some movies.
it is.
Right.
I think it's because of movies. Because, like, the way your politics work, like, if people went to Texas from here, they'd be like, what is happening? They'd be scared. So then we went from the bar area into, like, what's generally considered their performance space.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you get let in on the fact that at this party, it's being visited by essentially the memory of Joseph or Joey, who's the kid who died when he jumped off the roof. And it was awesome because it was a touring piece. So our group, like, they had 3 different color party hats. You had a blue party hat, a green party hat, or a red.
Yeah, we were blue.
And we were blue. And so we, according to whatever party hat you have, is the different journey that you take through the space, which for a minute kind of reminded me of being the, I don't know if you ever had this experience, but being the little church girl that I was in Texas, we would always have the big haunted house parties for Halloween, hollowed house, the hollowed houses, and you'd go to these things that we called hollowed houses, and they were usually like the Christian answer to the haunted house, and you'd like follow a character through, and you'd see how like living a hard life and drinking and doing drugs.
We have that at Christmas time usually.
Oh, really?
Like a Christmas journey.
Okay,
yeah,
like a Christmas. Well, we have it there, and for a second, we have it at Halloween, and like by the end of it, you like one character goes to heaven and one character goes to hell, and it's so for a minute.
Nothing like that. Halloween's not big here. No one.
That's right. That's
anything.
True. But for a minute, that's kind of what I was starting to think. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a hollowed house. But I feel like it was way more well done
Good.
than most of the hollowed houses I'd been to. What did you think about the acting?
That was pretty good.
Did anything really stick out to you performance-wise?
I liked the guy who played the Asian guy. I thought he was a really good actor, I think.
Oh
he was
my
like
gosh.
really into his like character, and I couldn't tell if he was acting like he couldn't speak English or if he kinda
Really couldn't speak
English. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. The character's name was Kenji, and we met him about halfway through our tour.
Yeah.
And his story is that
Dressed like a dinosaur.
yes, because they're all in crazy costumes.
Yeah.
And he was a dinosaur, and he was an exchange student. But you don't call them exchange students. What do you call them?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, he was a homestay.
A homestay, yeah. With the girl who owned the house and the pool where the boy died. And so, but he was hilarious.
Yeah,
he was so
it was
funny.
good.
He was like, leading us through, but he really couldn't speak English. And really well done.
Yeah, it was really cool.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting and that I was thinking about through it and that we talked a lot about in grad school was audience. Like, you want to do this highly participatory theater because it kind of feels like that's where the trend of theater is moving. Like, people don't necessarily want to sit down and watch something on stage anymore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's this question of, like, audience control, because there was a lot of moments where they were asking us to participate that some crazy audience member or just, somebody who refused to participate or over-participated could have ruined it. And I have to give bravo, to give applause to my fellow audience members who did a really good job of, participating when asked to participate, but not overdoing it. And the actors who you were so into what they were doing, and they were so casual about it, that I don't think anybody really wanted to be crazy or not go along with it.
Well, you didn't participate. And beer pong.
There was a part where you got back into the bar area and they were playing beer pong. And anybody who's ever played beer pong with me knows that I am horrible at it. So, Tasha.
So am I, but I gave it a go.
Yeah, but you're an illusionist. She's an illusionist. And so I just figured that even if you couldn't actually make it in, you'd find a way to make it look like you made it in. Exactly.
Done.
See, I have none of these powers. But I did participate by playing along with the Mayan party organizing cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Which, trust me, is not my personality at all. I was like, oh my God, high school is like my worst nightmare. And I did have that moment too, where when we were in the bar and there was like this high school party, I was like, I was horrible at high school. I was made fun of by these people in high school. I was the girl in the polar bear outfit in high school.
Aww. She got down with it a bit later.
She did. It was so funny when that one audience member was like, they're making an Oreo.
I didn't hear that.
I did. So it was great. I mean, they really were, like, they really did a good job, I think, of being really thorough, because there's, like, a moment where we were paying attention to one major plot point, but over in the background was the Oreo happening, and, but they weren't overplaying it to where it distracted from what the main point was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you were to happen to walk by or turn around, they were completely and totally in the moment of what they were doing as well. And I don't know how old these actors were. I don't know if, it doesn't say their age in the programs, of course. So I don't know if they were actually high schoolers or older or a mix. But whatever they were, I thought they did a really good job of being high schoolers at a party. I mean, anybody who acts knows that acting drunk isn't necessarily easy. I mean, it's so it's so easy to do it too much, to be too much or too little.
Too over the top.
Yeah, and I really felt after our 2-hour trek that these guys had been partying and drinking for 2 hours, you know?
Yeah.
They did a really excellent job of living in that moment. And then the costuming I thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, like, did the actors kind of come up with that on their own, or was there a costume
Yeah, I don't know.
person involved? I mean, one thing they did mention this in the program is that, you know, some of the story was, you know, compiled from actual stories of the actors from parties that they had been in. And kind of going along that lines, I also thought that if there was a script, I thought the script was really solid.
Yeah.
Like, nothing felt
forced.
Or
just felt like
ad-libbed.
they were just doing it.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, it was really seamless.
Yeah.
It was interesting because after, when we were in the bar, I heard someone say, with such great actors in New Zealand, you know, why aren't there a lot of great Kiwi movies?
Because we don't have the money.
But it's crazy because they were absolutely right, though. Like, I am not just saying this because I'm a fangirl of The Basement, which I am a fan of The Basement, but I'm really seeing some of the best acting that I have ever seen here. You know, and I've lived in Los Angeles, and I've seen theater in New York, and I've, you know, seen stuff in Chicago, and I'm literally seeing, I mean, how is that for you, watching more movies, you know, but comparatively, like, what do you think about the acting that you've seen?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not anyone amazing to be judging their acting.
Well, you are the audience who is essentially judges us at the end of the day.
No, I didn't see anything that I was like, oh my god, that was terrible.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though, like, there was a lot, there's 30 people in the cast, and I would say that, there's 30. So that's another thing.
Well, I guess they have to make the party room look full.
Right. Well, and there was a couple of plants in each group.
Yeah.
You know, that was clearly not really characters, but they were there, I think, to kind of support that group feeling as we went through. But even though, like, you had your main characters, you know, so there was the main guy, Joseph, who jumped off the roof and died, and he's there as this kind of memory. And then there's Stacy, his girlfriend. That's who we followed going out. That's who started our journey. There was his group of best friends. There was his sister and her story. And
that was kind of the three main
That groups. Was kind of, there's only 3, that's right. So those are our 3 groups. And you had those main characters. So obviously whoever kind of started your journey, and then their kind of little subgroup. But all the characters were just really, even though not super defined, I thought the actors did a good job of developing each one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm really trying to think of something, which I usually don't try to think of something negative to say, because that's not what I'm about at Theatric Itinerary. But I'm really, like, I'm sitting there, could I say anything negative about this production if I wanted to? And I don't think I could. And I really tried to be a skeptic because, you know, it was high school. So set me in any kind of, like, high school situation with popular kids and I'm going to feel skeptic. But high school post-traumatic stress syndrome. But
see, I don't know. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just got, like, real into it. And I was like, got really into the story and the characters, like, related them to, obviously, like I told you, related them to people that I could think of in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it quite relatable, and I wasn't kind of seeing it as, like, a show I was watching, but more of, like, something that I was, like, experiencing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So not really seeing any flaws in it.
Yeah. No, I don't
we were going.
Really think there were any to be seen.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really interesting that I kind of told you about was, so it's about, of course, like, binge drinking and teenagers and things that happen in those situations. And so at first I was kind of confused. I was like, at the end of it, I was like, well, it didn't feel like they were really saying anything against this partying. You know, it kind of felt like they were saying, you know, live like Joseph, live life to the fullest, like, be, you know, present. And But then when I was reading afterwards through the program, it just talked about how they didn't, when they decided to do this story, they didn't want to do like an advert on, teenage drinking.
Yeah.
It was like they wanted to talk about the experience that people have in those situations. And I thought that they did that absolutely. I didn't party like that in high school because, again, I was the polar bear girl. But I did party like that in college,
Yeah.
And I was like, these are those experiences, and they are kind of crazy, and you do stupid stuff, but there is that idea of, like, bonding and those, like, great stories that come out of these moments, and those terrible stories that come out of these moments, too.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel any judgment from that production. I didn't feel like, oh, yay, I hope all the teenagers get drunk and have this experience. But at the same time, I didn't feel like, oh, those stupid teenagers, like, why would they do that to themselves?
Yeah.
So, awesome. Awesome. So, with that, if you are in Auckland and you get a chance to go see Like There's No Tomorrow over at the Basement Theater, I definitely recommend it. I think Tash definitely recommends it. And theater makers who are out there, one thing I definitely picked up from tonight, I touched on a little bit, is don't be afraid that your audience won't go with you. I mean, they took us through a 3-story building, outside in the rain, like
in
gave
the bathroom.
Us in the There was an amazing scene in the bathroom. The girl who played Stacy, I just thought she was incredible. There was
really believable.
She was so she really. And she was living it because we saw her afterwards, and she just looked like she'd been raked over the coals.
Yeah,
it's just.
I just wanted to give her a hug.
I know exactly. She was really good, but don't be, so just as theater makers, like, don't be afraid that your audience isn't going to go somewhere with you. Like, if you commit, if you really believe, if you really go there, whatever you decide to explore, whatever you decide to take on, they'll take on with you. And that was really freeing. I had a really freeing experience by seeing these guys put on Like There's No Tomorrow. So, yes, audience, go see it. Yes. Theater makers, go see it. If you're in the States, hop on board. If you get a chance to be in a project like this, do it. And with that, thanks for tuning in to Theatrical with Nerd. Thank you, Tash, for coming and doing this interview with me. And catch you next time.
Bye, America.
Bye.